Oh boy.
It's okay. Don't worry, man.
Listen.
So I guess it's the Reds against the Blues because
That's what it looks like.
You know something? Something. You're right, man. The blood. I don't know what blue stand for. Y'all might be with Donald Trump.
Mm-hmm.
Blood of Jesus.
The red stand for Jesus.
I was afraid that we were online with some Bloods. That's what I thought we were.
Share this to your the link to your
Blue Lives Matter, huh?
I'm gonna let me just where is this link? Well, hold on a second. I just need to share this before we get started. Blue lives, baby. Blue lives.
I know y'all Republican. I know that.
Oh, mercy.
Donald Trump.
Mm-hmm. These Trumpers, man.
Yeah, you're a Trump out now. Living down there with those strange people.
All right, I am.
Don't get me started because I'll start saying some stuff that I shouldn't be saying online. I'm trying my best to bite my tongue.
He was holding back, man.
Yeah,
Quiet down for a second.
Hey, we got the red zone. We got the blood of Jesus.
Yeah.
All right, I think we're I got it on my page now. When it comes to fiddling around technology, sometimes I'm a bit slow on the trigger.
What you got there?
So I in terms of I shared the link. This is my page, or this is the Free Doulos page. I'm sharing it to my main Facebook page.
Well, you are live now.
Yeah, of course we are. Are you able to do that, Garth, or are you? Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. We're just sorting out some little technical things here before we jump into what we're talking about here. It's me and Lenny with the blues.
You just figured it out. You
just got it out. You got it. It tells that statement tells me you are affiliated with a particular political affiliation.
What is it? Are they the donkeys? They're the They're the symbol is the donkey, right? I'm getting used to your stuff here.
Well, Canada ain't too far behind now. So let's not go there.
Listen, don't be touching my maple leaf, all right?
Listen, man, I just had some this morning with my pancake. So thank you.
Oh yeah.
I get out of town.
But I love Canada. I love Canada.
Hey folks, welcome to our broadcast. We got the preachers on here. This we've titled this our little chat here, Between the Pews. So if you like what we're saying and what we're dealing with, just go ahead, subscribe and follow on Free Doulos TV and also the YouTube channel as well. And we're going to talk it up, all things related to our society. Of course, we connected to our church and what's going on in the world and how it affects the church too. So you have myself, Kenton Perrin. I'm a pastor here in the SEC conference. I'm going to ask the other fellows to do the same, but I'm going to start with Prince first, and then Lenny, and then Gar. Go ahead.
So what, is the youth director just higher ranked than us? Why you got to start with him first?
He's new. No, he's new. He wasn't here with us last week. He was not.
Listen, man, you got listen. I was going to say it was based on the alphabets, but it just based. I'm closer in distance to him. That's
right. That's all it is.
Based on the boxes, based on the squares. Listen, guys, my name is Prince Lewis, also a pastor, youth director of Southeastern Conference, and these guys are my supervisors. So I'm here on special assignment from my three supervisors. So I hope I made my bonus this year.
All right, Larry, go ahead.
All right, Pastor Newton, pastor here in Delray Beach, Florida, at the Daughter of Zion Seventh-day Adventist Church. I've been pastoring in Southeastern for roughly 17 years. It's really a pleasure to be with you guys.
Well, I am Garth Doughton. I'm pastor here at in Miami at Tabernacle and Faith churches, and I'm the newest guy here because I've only been here in Southeastern for about a month or so. So I'm newbie, but I have been pastoring in and around Canada and the United States, West Coast, the East Coast, everywhere. So I'm happy to be here in the South, enjoying the beautiful weather here, and to be able to be with these experts and learning from them.
You that weather thing, listen, I will forever be singing the praises, boss. All right. Every chance I get, I'm posting things having to do with sunshine, mangoes, right?
Man, you gloating, man. You're gloating.
Sabbath was really bad, man. You took the people on a nature walk. So I was like, man, that's very, braggadocious, man. Don't provoke God to put snow in Miami because of you.
No, he won't do that. Don't do that, Lord. Don't do that. All right. So before we jump into anything and everything, the goat did his thing. The goat did his thing on the weekend there. I thought the young boy was gonna handle the business, man, but he got mashed up.
Do you realize 7 years of Brady's oldest son? For 7 years, this young boy, he's been privileged to walk into a Super Bowl celebration with his father for 7 years. I mean, bro, that is amazing. I don't want to say it's fixed or it's rigged, but man, that's.
But he has a 10-year-old too. He doesn't.
Yeah, he has 3 kids. I think it's 3, two boys and 1 girl.
Yeah, the daughter's 10,
amazing.
And he's been to 10 Super Bowls.
Yeah, that's amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Wow.
Let's see the goat, lady.
I'm trying. When you see that I'm quiet, I'm trying to bite my tongue. I know we're online. What I want to say, I can't say. I can't say what I want to say.
Yet? Okay,
no, I can't. No, I can't say what I want to say because listen, my brain begins to go. It's like, listen, this ain't right, and so, but he ain't the GOAT. But that's
he's
not the GOAT. So
on that note, I'll show this comment.
No.
Why you don't have him on here? I wish you had him on here.
Listen, and Lenny, I thought about George and the fact that we lived in Miami. You lived in Fort Lauderdale over the years while we were growing up. And for some reason, Tampa Bay, they were always the worst team in the Florida belt. But yet they won 2 Super Bowls. So my perspective, George, and I have to give props. Tampa Bay is the best Florida team.
Listen. I don't give no props or say anything to George because he was rooting against his team. He was upset that they changed out the quarterback, got rid of Jameis Winston.
He was so happy Sunday.
But when he realized they were going to win, then he pulled out his Tampa gear. He was at the game. He
had everything out.
And so he's somewhat of a bandwagoner. But
I'm waiting for Miami to win, man. We got to win. Come on, Miami. Come on. This next year got to be our year. We have to. Okay.
You got to bring George. You got to bring George online.
Yeah. You should have brought him. Well, I'm glad you didn't bring him on. He would have made this broadcast unbearable. Somehow he would have kept talking about Buccaneers. Whatever we talked about, he would have been talking about Buccaneers somehow.
The Tampa Bay hat, the Tampa Bay shirt, the Tampa Bay earmuff.
He would have had all of that on. And I'm next week have them on, but not this week.
Man, Tampa Bay, very impressive. That wasn't even a game. It was over the first half. It was over.
That's true.
So what happened with all the COVID protocols and all that sort of stuff?
That was crazy, man.
What was going on?
That's crazy.
That was the protocol.
What was the protocol? The only protocol I saw was when my guy was doing the halftime show and all his people were dressed in masks. That's
the protocol was simply go and have fun.
Man, listen,
there's going to be some spikes in the city of Tampa.
The mayor, did you see the mayor this morning? the mayor defended her city. She,
she got
said
some
they was
money.
following the protocols.
She got some money. That's what she did.
Listen,
the city got a lot of money. So
I hope they got enough to use it for the sick people.
Yeah.
It's gonna be some sick people.
Yeah, it's gonna be some spikes there for sure.
Think about it. There may be another variant that may be produced because of the Super Bowl. Maybe
they developed
variants.
Anyways, all right. So it's Black History Month. It's Black History Month, and there during this time we normally talk about individuals who have contributed quite a bit to Black culture, Black society. There is a lady here that I want to highlight. Her name is Dr. Hadia Nicole Green. She is the one who came up with, let me see if I got the reading here, nano laser particles to cure cancer in mice without using radiation or chemotherapy.
Wow.
What do you guys think about that?
Man, woo, that's awesome right there.
Yeah.
I think about those who've been affected by cancer for all these years. Like this is new breaking stuff, man. Like this can alter a lot of what's happening right now in society. For those who have been struggling with and lost so many people or have cancer, different forms of cancer, this is groundbreaking. So this is great. This is great news.
Yeah. I mean, and that's what I'm really excited about, this new type of technology. You know, so many individuals are impacted by cancer yearly. And then, of course, it's just good to focus in on African-American, Black individual to come up with this type of technology. And this, of course, just tells us and tells our young people that, you know, it doesn't matter the color of your skin, that you can do greatness, that you can achieve amazing things. And so that's the thing that sometimes living in our country, we fail to realize sometimes the impact that African Americans, that Black people of color have had on our country, on this world. And a lot of the important technologies that have come out, inventions that have come out is from people of color. And so that's phenomenal.
Phenomenal.
In terms of one of the reasons why I was also impressed with the story, of course, kudos to her. You know, chemotherapy and radiation is not necessary, doesn't usually bode well for individuals, right? So it's good that she's come up with something like this. I hope we don't have a situation where a procedure, something like this, is extremely good, but you have a lot of things like chemotherapy and all that sort of stuff that they're using right now. And I'm hoping that what she's coming up with, she doesn't get a hard time, or, I don't know the ins and outs of how these things go, right?
It's called money. It's called big pharmaceuticals. At the end of the day, every agency that operates, they want a positive return on the investment.
Right.
And at the end of the day, you can't take out the greatest equation, which is her technology, her research will be driven by passion and love, and not by dollars and cents.
Yeah. And well, go ahead. I'm sorry, Pastor Don.
No. Oh, go ahead, Gary.
Oh, I was just thinking, man, the amount of millions of dollars that goes into just research with this type of technology, it means that a lot of those funds will no longer be collected. So just, going hand in hand with what you were just saying, Pastor Lewis, like seriously, a lot of people are going to be upset. The pharmaceutical industry is going to be upset at the fact that now we no longer collect any money for research, where now we have a cure for a lot of the ailments. So I expect that there's going to be some kickback or pushback because of this technology.
And that's the thing. I mean, I hate to be pessimistic, but I know that this would probably they'll come out with a lot of different erroneous studies to shoot this down, because chemotherapy, radiation treatment this is, I mean, for just one treatment, you'll be shocked to know how much, these companies make just when they charge for one treatment. And what's so amazing now, and again, I don't want to anybody who has cancer, or you're thinking about what to take and what type of treatment route, because it possibly can work, chemo and radiation can work. But what people don't realize is that for some chemo treatments, there's only like a 10% chance that it will work, right? But how doctors will push it is like, no, this is going to help you. And it's like, for some, it's 10%, it's 17% chance that it will work. However, this is what doctors are always pushing: chemo, do radiation. And sometimes what they'll do, instead of, okay, let's take the tumor out, no, let's do all of these treatments first, and then let's take the tumor out, because it is about money. I hate to say, it is about money. And I'm even thinking about, and some of you may recall a few years back, that the milk industry, I don't know if you know this, the milk industry, they put out some erroneous studies about soy milk and almond milk, that it can cause cancer. And they tried to put this out there so that people would not partake in these different things, soy milk and almond milk, just so that people would go back to the milk, dairy products. And so I am fearful, because if it is as successful as it's looking is going to be, I'm sure there are going to be individuals to try to tear down this study, because that's going to take away millions upon millions, even billions of dollars. So cancer is a money-making industry. I hate to say it. So
the passion behind this was, not just her own research and all that sort of stuff, but a family member of hers suffered. I think the person either went through chemo or radiation, or maybe both. I'm not too sure. So she said, no, there has to be a better way. And that's, that was part of the drive in terms of.
But I'm sure she's not the only person to have a groundbreaking, breakthrough. There are many, and America is special because if it's not endorsed by us, it's not legitimate. That's just how we roll. That's how we roll. Canada is nice, but Canada endorsement means absolutely nothing in the world. It's right. USA. So her technology will be used. If in Africa, Europe, it will be used. Right. But the greater exposure is when we put our stamp of approval on it as a country, and then it's able to go worldwide. So at the end of the day, like Lenny, all options on the table, use them. Study, search, and find the best means to save your life, if possible, Yeah. But she will have a place at the table, like it or not, because somebody's going to use it.
The sad part, I guess, like what we discussed even last week, regarding the drug that's used in Brazil, but still is not endorsed in the U.S. People have to go outside of the country sometimes to even be able to get treatment for certain types of illnesses. And whereas we can explore the type of groundbreaking technology. And so here we have to, push it as best as possible in hopes that this young lady who's an African-American, Black young person to present something, because it has affected her. That means that we possibly can benefit from that if we get diagnosed, because most likely she is helped. She's thinking about the African-American population. So believe it or not, man, we've seen a whole lot of people die from this illness and different forms of it. So hopefully this could help our community.
Touched everybody, man. Touched everybody, including my own. All right. Continuing on the whole Black History Focus thing. BLM was nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize, and so was Stacey Abrams. What you guys think about that?
Stacey.
All the way.
Stacey. I vote Stacey.
If she could get more, you say give her more.
Please, if you can call right, smoke signals up. We want Stacey to stand on that stage and receive her just reward.
what are you saying all of that for? What Stacey do for us? What has she done for us lately?
I am a huge fan of this young lady. I am a huge fan. I am really impressed by her.
What's the governor's name in Georgia? What's his name again?
I don't know.
Ryan Kemp?
It should be Stacey Adams.
or Stacey Abrams. Yeah.
It should be Stacey Abrams. I don't care.
but I want I don't know what is he doing to himself right now. To see this woman is just winning in every category you can think of.
Don't cheat. that's the takeaway. Don't cheat. Do it the correct way, and you will win. You loses.
I mean, my homegirl. At first, it was Biden. That's a win. Warnock. That's a win. Ossoff. That's a win. Voter early registration, signing up people. Win. She's just handing them L's left, right, and center, man. I mean, I mean, I don't know about her getting the. She's been nominated. I don't know, how the Nobel Peace Prize thing goes, but in addition to that, BLM. So did I say BLM as well? Stacey Abrams and BLM. I mean, let's chop that up for a little bit. I mean, I see with her, and she's contributed so much. I mean, she's really changed the trajectory of our political process.
Now BLM has changed the world, though.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, once again, it's
changed the world.
Yeah, it's a movement.
Yeah.
Which one is the greatest? Which one would you consider to be the greatest impact?
Man, the amount of people I've seen on the streets, when I saw so many young white people stand on the streets chanting BLM for all these months, and I have to say, even in countries that we wouldn't expect, when you see folks in Japan and in China everywhere chanting BLM, then certainly this movement has really sparked something in the hearts of individuals that we have never seen. So yes, we do have individuals who have made an impact here, but I think Black Lives Matter has truly been a worldwide force to be reckoned with, and has allowed for many policies and to be changed. Really, many policies, many government officials, individuals who were inherently racist and came out as that, they were cut down because of the movement of Black Lives Matter. So I truly see that this is a worldwide organization that deserves to be on a pedestal for the impact that it has made.
Yeah. So I guess a few things. Stacey Abrams, what she did is just phenomenal, right? It shows us that one person can make a difference, right? And that was just amazing. Now I have a different take on the BLM movement, and so no, this is not bad. This is not bad because think about this. But I want to ask you guys this and your opinion on this. I like the Black Lives movement. Of course, there's a little bit of some stuff that but I'm not going to go there. However, my question to you guys, the Black Lives Matter movement, this movement, BLM, made a tremendous impact on this election. However, because it was before, it was out how many years before?
Trayvon, from the time of Trayvon.
Yeah. Would we have seen the amount of people marching, amount of people doing what they're doing if there was not a pandemic? Because I think because everybody was cooped up in their house, everybody was cooped up in their house for months, and everybody was frustrated because the police brutality, the killings of African American, this has been going on for centuries, right? Yeah. It's been going on for centuries. But I believe, and I could be wrong, but I think that this pandemic is a terrible thing. But what helped, everybody's being cooped up in the house. They want to do something because we've had marches before. Haven't we had marches before? Lots. We've had, Trayvon Martin, when people were have gotten killed, there've been people protesting, but we didn't see anything like this because I want to say, I think one of the reasons is because of the pandemic. However, it helped. But that's my take. I don't know how you guys.
I thought you would have. I thought you were going to say the White House. I think I think the president had a very large impact on a lot of the 2020 protests. I'm not.
And I'm glad you're saying protest and not riot, because
Yeah,
we want to
that's it. I'm not
distinguish
going to
that
use the word
between
riot.
January
I'm not
6th.
going to use the word riot.
Yeah.
But on a lot of the protests, on a lot of the demonstrations through legislative branches and governing systems within the U.S. and beyond, actually, I think that we can give the pandemic and President Trump because both together really made 2020 a banner year for colored people.
So this is my take, and so maybe I didn't break it down, because of course Trump, he was in office from 2016, right?
Yeah.
I'm saying, and this is, I didn't explain it myself right, because everyone was confined home. There was no sports, right?
Yeah.
Our television shows, there was, they weren't taping it, so reruns. Everybody was stuck in the house. All you could do was really think about and see these news broadcasts and see, that officer have his neck, his what is it, his
knee on
leg.
the neck.
Yeah. And so this thing was percolating in everybody's mind, and the pandemic actually helped. That's what I'm saying, is that because we had Trump in the office since 2016. He's been saying crazy stuff even before he became president, and racist stuff. And so I think that the pandemic helped, because we're home and all we're doing, we turn on the news, man, one killing after another killing, and it helped to percolate things. And this is why we're where we're at right now. That's what I was saying. So
yeah, I think in terms of trying to put into words, what we saw, what we felt, it's kind of hard for me. I mean, I was in Canada when all of this was happening, and but I felt the raw emotions because we have our own experiences there, and we could identify together. And like Garth was pointing out, it's a worldwide movement. Black and brown people anywhere on the planet, we constantly face pressures, right? Even if you're in a predominantly Black country, you still get these challenges simply because of your skin color. So the pandemic, I think, definitely contributed, but to this whole getting out there, seeing it. You're just locked in. Sports canceled. The only thing you're seeing is this image playing over and over and over again. And then all the years now of the abuse and all the things that we have been talking about became front and center. Even it's not even companies. Granted, it's petered off a little bit now, but Amazon was saying Black Lives Matter. A whole bunch of companies, everybody was running with this Black Lives Matter. They're contributing lots of money towards the development of the Black community and pushing Black folks forward, and a whole lot of conversation came out. But yeah, I would say the pandemic brought everything together, right? But I think this buildup was there over many, many years, and then now you're in your home, you're sitting down there watching this thing, and you can't see anything else. It's a combination of all things.
I think also because when I stood on the streets, I thought there would be a lot of older folks, even in the pandemic, who would be saying Black Lives Matter. What I saw was something very different. I saw a lot of teenagers and early 20-year-olds, that were on the streets taking the charge. I mean, we're locked arm, walking for miles, and these folks are chanting. And I had to ask myself the question, what is prompting them to actually be out there? And because they, for years, have read about or heard in the history books or whatever about the injustices towards Black people in this country. And for the first time, it's now seen, it's visible. That sparked a change for them to be able to now begin to join a movement asking for change. And I think that's really, definitely the pandemic had something to do with it, because now we're home and we're seeing it. But to witness someone die on television, I don't think that has ever been shown to that extent. And even when the media tried to silence it or, kind of censor it to some degree, social media was able to promote the entire video. So they're able to see, these 20-something-year-olds and these 17-year-olds, whatever, are able to see on social media what sometimes the media kind of censors when someone dies. And so we all got to see this gruesome act take place before us. And then it sparked something that they could not contain anymore. So I think that's from my standpoint, that's what I think actually happened to some degree.
If anyone should receive some type of notoriety or some type of recognition, should be social media, because with those platforms, this movement would have still been in its infancy, because when you have raw footage, not tampered with, but it's raw, and the emotions are just pouring out of whatever means you are watching it, via your phone or just on your computer screen or just on your big screen, your smart TV, you feel that anger. You're literally in that moment. And you say to yourself, I have to do something. Something must be done. And then social media gave us another avenue to organize. You don't millions of people out without some type of mass communication. So as much as we give BLM and we give Stacey credit, you have to look at the power of social media. And for a change, we got it right. But also we got it wrong with Trump, because the same platform that called all the BLM out was the same platform had them fools at the White House. I mean, excuse me, they are fools. They're properly used at the Capitol. So social media deserves something in this process.
I'll push back a little bit on social media, because here's what YouTube was at one point. I don't know if YouTube was taking down the George Floyd video. They were at one point. I think the other outlets like Facebook, I don't know if Facebook was doing it, but YouTube was censoring it.
Facebook was spreading that thing like a fire. So it was. Trust me, it really played into the narrative of the crowds, because when you can take your phone out and send a picture over the airway and you're able to show in real time what is transpiring, you're starting to give way to other people imitating the same format, or just imitating the passion. So social media, I give you your recognition, and hey, I'm
with you on that. I'm with you on that. I remember during one of the protests, we're trying to map the area to figure out what direction to take the crowd. Because when you have the mass number of people following you, sometimes I don't even know the city as well. So I'm trying to navigate. Some of the individuals who are marching with me, I'm telling them we're going to turn down one street. Let's say it's Washington Street, turning down Washington Street. They're sending that out on social media. So thousands of people now can join us on like Davis Street, because they know it intersects Washington Street, to meet us there. So social media is the active platform that's being used to even orchestrate the protest in real time. Whereas before we didn't have that. So, and someone cannot dictate where you go and what you do, and they cannot determine you're going to be down this street, because everything is happening in real time. And that was something that I firmly agree with Pastor Lewis, because I saw it happening in real time. And the thrust that's given from social media standpoint to lead and direct a mass of people to be able to organize and be proficient in being able to protest peacefully. So I love that.
I'll give them props. Yes, but it's some social media is a two-edged sword sometimes.
Yeah, it is, because it helped to get Donald Trump elected. So
it's just like church. We got some good churches and we have some bad churches.
But I guess I want to ask this question. I mean, what do you guys think? I mean, do you think that the Black Lives Movement has it radically shaped our country now?
I know.
for the good.
I know it has affected me, and I don't think I'm unique. I think it has affected a lot of individuals.
Unique.
Being that I was across the border, right?
You are
And
unique.
I'm not immediate. Huh?
You are unique.
Look at that. Oh, I became aware of a lot. Like, for example, there was a term that they were using, qualified immunity. I didn't understand the concept of qualified immunity. Why is it that police officers were getting off after they've done some terrible things, on a regular, right? They have it on their records. But I understood the whole concept of qualified immunity. I understood how connected things were with police officers, police unions, police departments, the criminal justice system. There was a huge education for me, because sometimes individuals like myself would want to say something on social media, but we're intimidated simply because we don't have the information. And yes, we might be Black and we share that in common, but we are not educated enough to speak on the experience and to speak about some of the things that we're going through. I went out just like Garth did in a couple of protests there in Toronto, where it was peaceful, it was respectful, right? But we let our voices be known, that we're here and these are some of the things that we have been through, because we've been taking it for a very long time. So I think it was a huge education moment for me, and I've done that, and I've educated my daughter, and it's interesting to hear her repeat some of the things that she's been seeing me say, or she went with me on one of the protests as well.
Awesome. Honestly, the BLM organization is nothing more than the civil rights movement.
Mm-hmm.
They're not doing anything that's unique.
Right.
They may have changed the platform
Mm-hmm.
to include the homosexual agenda,
Mm-hmm.
and that's basically it. Truth be told, number one, let me just say this, and this may throw a little gasoline on your flame. If the church would step up and operate in the calling we were established in, the BLM would never have a movement.
Yeah, that's true.
They took the passion. By the way, do you know who those people who are actually marching? Do you know who they are? They're churchgoers. They're churchgoers. Dr. King's whole movement was the church. So people to march, it's an instant call for the Black church to get up and do something, because that's what we know here in America, at least. That's the roots of the Southern work. So as much as I give credit and props to this movement, they're only using what the church has established. And by the way, the same way we walked away from the vegetarian package.
Hello.
Who's not packaging vegetarian food?
Yep. Everybody else. Who
started? Who started the whole phenomenon? It was us.
Yeah.
So as long as we sit on the sideline and we watch and we applaud, oh, great job, God is simply saying, fools, I gave it to you. And to them. And now they are distort. Leave that alone.
Yeah. No, you're right. I mean, it definitely has.
I'm like, I might say too much.
Yeah, it definitely has a side that it's leaning towards, but we can't discredit the good that it has done, right?
Oh yeah, I love the good, but I'm just giving you that foundation. What it is.
So I mean, okay, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead, Preacher. No, Preacher, go ahead.
Yeah, so my take on it is, I think it is a phenomenal movement that's happening, and of course, the beautiful thing about it, with those people who were protesting, a large majority of them were not necessarily Black folk, right? A lot of them, right?
True.
That were on the street, which is beautiful. And then another thing that was amazing about these protests is that it was a lot of young people. And so Now, is it going to change our country right now? I don't know if it's going to change our country right now. You know, there's still 70 million plus people who voted for Trump, right? You know, but I think that our future generation and the projection and trajectory of the country is going to be better, you know, more tolerant, more accepting of people. I mean, maybe not right now, right? Now, everyone's going to go underground like how it has been. Of course, Trump has allowed people to, let's take off our masks. We don't have to wear our white masks anymore, right? We can take it off and be very bold with it. People are going to go back underground. But I think that it has, of course, opened up the eyes to some of the young people who aren't Black to understand the plight of Black and brown people in this country and in the world. So that's my take.
Man, what I saw was that you know, and what you said, you know, Trump allowed for individuals to take off their mask. I would add also he allowed them to take off their hoods too, because plainly there were a lot of individuals on the sidelines of those protests who were or should have been wearing hoods. And it was very strange. I mean, to be able to see these young individuals standing for what they felt was right. And there will be change in this country, more change as time would persist. But then we also saw there were young sets on the sides, young individuals on the side who were really opposed to what was happening, and they were waiting there under the guise of being supporters, when really and truly they were just coming to cause trouble. So there's still that movement, that undercurrent, that girth movement that is there, that is trying to oppress the voices of those who want to stand for justice. And so we still see that the fight will continue.
Well, I agree with both of you, but there's one thing I would say is that it has already made an impression upon the political
arena. Yeah.
And also you got to understand something. The difference in this clash from previous clashes is that the white and the other cultures, or should I say the other groups that came in, they were grandchildren of the grandparents who are still Trumpers. Okay. And in the white community, there's a great divide now. The grandkids are saying to their grandparents, this is not how we live. Since the integration of the public school system and everything else, we know them. Guess what? We love some of them. Some of them will be your grandson-in-laws and granddaughters and all that good stuff, because it's a different world on one side of America. So Trump was able to convince that 70 plus to come out and remind us that they are still alive and this is their country. But their grandchildren came out with us and told them, in a couple of years, we're taking this country from you because you're going to be in a position where you can't do anything and we're going to take over. So that's the only great accomplishment, is that their grandkids got it. They got it.
Grandkids and kids. I mean,
and kids.
Kellyanne Conway, you know, you see what she talks about her mother and Trump, and there, you know, even with the riot at the Capitol, how they were able to catch some of those individuals is their children.
Their kids,
their kids. Like, hey, my mother was wrong, you know. And I told them that if they go out there, I'm going to report them. So.
So it's a change already, and that's a great segue to the next election, because guess what? A lot of these young people will be in a greater position to make a difference when it comes to campaigning. So it's a new day for us. It's a new day. It's promising days ahead for us.
Yeah, this is definitely one of those topics that we can pick up again and you know, delve into it a little bit deeper and in terms of what we're dealing with. But talking about segue, so let's segue to something that has become taboo. Something that has become taboo as we're dealing with the pandemic right now. Taboo is we're dealing with vaccines, and people are you know, a lot of people don't say anything when it comes to the vaccines because, we've created the situation has been created right now where folks are, talking about what Pfizer is doing, Moderna, and all these different things. We picked up on this last week when we were talking about the matter. Johnson and Johnson is the next company. So they are now coming out with a vaccine. And in terms of effectiveness, right? Let me pull it up here. In terms of the effectiveness of the vaccine, they say that the vaccine is effective, 72% effective in the US, 66% effective in Latin America, and 57% in South America. In addition to that, I'm just throwing out a few things. In addition to that, Pfizer said it already. Moderna said it already. Now Johnson and Johnson and AstraZeneca, they're saying it too. It's an annual thing now, which I have said it before. It's going to be an annual thing like the flu shot, right? Another thing for a lot of Adventists who don't know, phase 3 clinical trial, it was done at our system here in Orlando, phase 3. I know, it's crazy, huh? Yeah, phase 3 right there in Orlando. And they are now looking for emergency use authorization. And remember, we were talking about social media and how I knock social media because there are lots of other doctors and other things that are out there that aren't getting the airtime. As a matter of fact, like I said, I've put up doctors, credible scientists, not just doctors, scientists, and YouTube removes the information because there's only one voice, which is Dr. Fauci and the pharmaceutical company that they're asking for right now. So I'm just putting it out there so that we can chop it up because it's, we're not supposed to talk about it. Just as pastors, just roll up your sleeves. You hear Johnson and Johnson is coming out and we don't know what's in it. So AstraZeneca, we know that the adenovirus that they're using is chimpanzee adenovirus. But we don't know if it's the same chimpanzee adenovirus that Johnson & Johnson is using. Even if people say that we don't care, I want to know. Tell us what it is. One last thing, Bill Gates came out and said that he's suggesting the use of monoclonal antibodies. Monoclonal antibodies. When you look at what monoclonal antibodies is all about, it is a combination of using the parts of mice to create an immune system to help individuals with compromised immune system. So they combine, I'm not a medical person, but when you look at the American Cancer Society, they break it down and tell you that it's a combination of the parts of a mouse in order to create monoclonal antibodies. Just throwing that out there. What you guys think?
I mean, it's really it's scary, right? It's scary to know what's in the vaccine and what they're doing. There's a lot of it that we don't know. However, what we do know is that over 400,000 people have died from this virus in America, over 2 million worldwide. And so I pray that this vaccine works. I pray that it works. I really do, so that we could stop all of these deaths. Of course, a lot of Black and brown people are impacted by it even more so. However, at the same time, again, you have to do your own research, right? None of us, I love root beer, right? I love root beer, but I'm not going to put root beer in my gas tank, right? And so you have to research it because this is going into your body. A lot of doctors, they're up and down. They don't know what's going to be the long-term effects of this vaccine. You got to consult your doctor. You got to pray. You got to hope. I'm not going to tell anybody not to take it. I'm not going to tell anybody, to take it. I'm not really going to do that. I don't know. It's a tough gray area situation when we're looking at, what's being done with this vaccine. And this is just a very hard subject to discuss. And that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at.
Wow.
One second there, Garth. So here it is, American
Yeah.
Cancer Society. What is MABS, right? Monoclonal antibodies, which Bill Gates is pushing. If you go online, you'll see he has this nice fancy video talking about attacking the virus like you do, like you're doing. It's a war simulation. You're preparing for the virus. So what is it? It says murine. They have a few categories here. These are made from mouse proteins, and the names of the treatment end in OMAB. Chimeric. These proteins, this is American Cancer Society, are a combination of part mouse and part human, and the names of the treatments end in chimab, I guess. Humanized. These are made from small parts of mouse proteins attached to human proteins, and the names of the treatment end in Zumab. So just wanted to folks to know that it's out there. It is out there. So once you just take the time to go check. Go ahead, Gary.
Yeah, I was thinking about Johnson and Johnson being the same company, I think, that settled the lawsuit of producing some products that were carcinogenic, and now is being almost seemingly endorsed by the American Cancer Society. Something is awry. Something is awry. And then you have individuals who are affluent, like Bill Gates, promoting a vaccine. That seems kind of unorthodox for someone who is in a media, has made his wealth off
technology,
media and the technology, to now be promoting a vaccine. It seems kind of really absurd. I mean, there's some things that we would expect, but historically, that comes back to what was stated last year. It is Black History Month, and a lot of focus is on black people, and it seems like this vaccine is also focused on Black people, and so we have to be mindful of what we put into our bodies, and be cautious of those who are promoting it, because it just seems very strange to me. I would do my research, take my time before having someone just inject it into my body, because there's just some things that just doesn't add up as of yet.
South Africa canceled AstraZeneca's vaccine. So they just did. South Africa said, no, I'm sorry, it's not helping down here. And so they're very upset right now. But they're saying, yeah, it works, but I mean, once again, I don't like the taboo. Don't say anything, shh, anytime we make mention of it, individuals call you unscientific. And I made mention of our fellow preacher, I won't call his name, who put up on Facebook that you are a blankety blank if you don't take a vaccine or tell people to go take a vaccine. This is a fellow preacher. So Adventist preachers now, some of them are becoming spokespersons for the pharmaceutical company. When did this happen? I don't know, but apparently, that's where we are.
That was
now.
Prince's mentee. He was mentoring. That's true. Prince knows that. He knows that.
Listen. I don't endorse him. I don't endorse his statement, but we'll try to baptize him again. Just need a rebaptism. That's all.
And we also spoke about the whole ivermectin situation. The doctor is right here. The doctor that actually pioneered it in I don't know if it's in the US, but definitely he's here in Florida. And I reached out to him. So I'm gonna try and get him on here to come and talk to us. But a lot of people do not know about that ivermectin, right? Which, as you mentioned, Lenny, the milk company telling us cancer in this and cancer in that. So there are a lot of Merck is now coming out and saying that particular drug, don't take it. But you want to hear what the hypocrisy is? Merck has spent millions of dollars sending that drug into poorer parts of the world to help them fight parasite. That's what Merck did. So now Merck is coming out and saying, yeah, this is not a good thing. Don't take it. Don't take it.
It's again the financial drive, man. It's a financial drive, and a lot of these folks, including some of these very affluent individuals, have stocks or whatever it is, or investments in these companies, and so they're going to be backing it. They're going to be spokesperson for it. But I think for us is not to be led like a lamb to the slaughter, where we're also promoting a company that we know nothing about. and we're now kind of like the followers, or the sheep that's just following blindly without even doing our own research. And I think it's a call for us to be more proactive in researching and being aware of what's happening around us.
So you know what, folks? This isn't it. We have more shots coming. So even on top of them saying that, yes, you're gonna get more shots. People are like, ignoring, what they're saying and just saying, yeah, we're just gonna go along with them. Wasn't Darwin a scientist?
Listen, man, it's a bad spot for people to be in. You have people dying every day. Families are fatigued with death, with just fatigue. When you get up in the morning and you're burying your husband, but you're inside the hospital fighting COVID, your daughter's in the hospital fighting COVID. This recently in South Atlantic, the husband is being buried. The wife is fighting COVID. The daughter's fighting COVID. They can't be at the graveside for, the funeral. And we hear stories, just tragic stories of this type of ordeal transpiring in families. And, it used to be that Seventh-day Adventists were exempt from this type of, tragedy, but these are now at our front doors, doors. And I mean, I don't care if you're in Africa in an Adventist system or you in America, it's at the front doors of all Adventist institutions and organizations. And so now our hospital systems, they get paid by the government, before anyone misinterpret what your statement was about Orlando, about Advent Health being the third
phase 3 trial.
Phase 3 trial.
Yeah.
Well, what could they say if you're taking money from pharmaceutical companies and from the government? This is a part of your contract.
And that's what I be honest with us.
Yeah, part of the contract, so they have to, and this is one of the world's best hospitals in existence here in Orlando. My anger is more so you're trying to find something to work. Use and it's sad because I would hate for you to use animals, but I mean find something to use.
Right.
What you're going to put into living people,
Right.
I don't think that I need to be the one to be the experiment, with 15 different vaccines flowing through my body until you the one that's absolutely correct. But right now it is so bad. You have death on one end, you have this white hope in a vaccine, and both are going to end up in the same place if we're not careful, the grave. Because at the end of the day, chemo and radiation, well, we know after years of the same trial runs and other manipulation to the formula and to the public sector, we have it now. We know the pros and the cons. And this is what is transpiring right here. They're just testing this thing out on us until they get it right. And the only question I have to ask, how many will die before it's right? And it's going to be a long time because I think it's 3 years at the minimum, 10 years before this thing is eradicated. You got a lot of test dummies that's going to be used within 10 years. And the only thing I can tell my brothers and sisters, you pray when you get it, pray after you get it, pray if you don't get it, you just pray. That's all I can tell you, because somehow you're going to be impacted because family members will take this.
Yeah.
And as we said before, we can't tell you not to, and we're not going to tell you you must. We're simply going to tell you, you do what's in your best interest and you pray all the way through, and by God's grace, he would do the healing because he's the only one we can trust right about now.
That's true.
Yeah. I mean, thanks for that. I know that, we've reached our 2:00 mark, just taking a couple minutes because we started a little bit behind time, but I know Lenny has to go soon, right?
I do.
Yeah. Okay. So, I'll in terms of a lot of times, so I'll just mention this. We can pick up on some other topics for next one. A lot of times when we're talking about the whole vaccine situation, people are out there pushing some theories, talking about the mark of the beast and all that sort of stuff. And they are making reference to Revelation 13. And I think in terms of talking about that, I want to make it clear that while we don't necessarily, I wouldn't subscribe to the idea that a vaccine represents the mark of the beast, right? I think in terms of some of the things that we're seeing might be, in the category where individuals might be, saying that, okay, this looks like it, so this might be it. No. Revelation 13 talks about the fact that you can't buy or sell. I'm trying to get the specific verse here. The specific verse in terms of I think it's verse 16 where it talks about also it calls all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and slave, to be marked in the right hand and the forehead, so that no one can buy or sell unless he has the mark. I think in terms of, those are some of the things that individuals might be looking at when they're talking about the mark of the beast, rather than saying the vaccine itself. So the restrictions that come, right, from a prophetic standpoint, of course, they're talking about the whole passport situation, getting a vaccine passport in order to travel, right? Restriction. Companies are actually in conversation with tech companies right now,
But can I say this?
Yeah.
The Spanish flu was the same thing. Every pandemic is going to have a run on prophecy. That's, that's what we are.
Right.
And guess what? When this is over, then what?
Right. And right. So we don't know. Right. I don't know if they will actually follow through with a vaccine passport.
No. What I'm simply saying, when the pandemic is over, if the world is still around, there is going to be an ending to this. I'm sorry. It's just happened. It's going to end.
Right.
Then what happens to that fervent, thrill and thrust for prophecy? And really, if you're looking for the mark of the beast, then you're not doing anything else in regards to your faith.
Right.
If your faith is built on a mark, then you're closer to hell than you know.
Yeah.
Because you still have to live with the mindset that Jesus is coming. But regardless of the mark of the beast, if you're living for Jesus, you have nothing to concern yourself about.
Right.
It's when you're trying to find a reason to be passionate. I'm not passionate because the mark of the beast. The mark of the beast is the mark of the beast. Good. But Jesus is still coming, and he still expects a certain level of attention to evangelism, to personal growth. He still expects some type of attention to evangelizing your family.
Yeah, for sure.
You can't go into a bunker because of the mark of the beast. Come on.
Yeah. People have always been harping on what the Pope does and what America does. I mean, really and truly, man, I agree with you, preacher. If we're just focused on the fact that we need to witness Christ, and at the end of the day, he looks at us and says, well done, that's all that matters. Because the dragon is not going to change from being a dragon. It's always going to be a dragon.
It's still going to be a dragon.
We're always going to find reasons why the dragon is a dragon. And it speaks like a dragon. It has actions. Everything that it does is going to reflect the dragon because it's a dragon.
And it's right there in chapter 13 too, let's end on this last note because you mentioned it. It could be one of two things, right? So we have a situation where President Biden stopped supporting the Saudis in them giving them, I think, military equipment in order to fight against the Yemenis, because there is a huge starvation situation going on right there. Right, huge, and you don't see it enough on social media because it's just not pleasant.
That's a humanitarian issue.
Yeah.
But
hold on. Canada is included in this, by the way. They have been selling military equipment to the Saudi government for years. So we talked. You mentioned the lamb. Look like a lamb, but speak like a
dragon.
Now, all of a sudden, the same country that has been supporting, and propping up the Saudis is now the one saying, "Oh, we're gonna stop right now." That's something. Just one last topic they want us to chop up.
You know, the U.S. You know, the U.S. has always been doing that. Goes into a country, destabilizes it, puts its own leadership in that it wants to, that it can control, takes all the resources from that country until it gets whatever it wants, makes itself fat, and then it finds a way to destroy that economy and destroy the people.
And then they're out.
I mean, that's the old political game. It's been doing that for all the years. That's the qualities that we're talking about, that it speaks like it's, oh, we're all about justice, we're all about equality, we're all about equity, we're all about unity. And then it goes and destabilizes the place, destroys it, and keeps it down until it can continue to reap everything that it has from it. The U.S. is one of those countries that continues to take the brightest and the best. It's Babylon, man, from wherever you look at, and it makes itself fat, and it. I mean, we live here, so we're seeing the thing, and it's as if there's nothing else happening in the world, even though there's chaos around us. This is a place that's like, oh, it's great, you know, everyone's trying to come here. So we're seeing the elements and the effects of being a dragon. And no one can touch this country. It's the most powerful country on the face of the planet. So it will obliterate anyone who talks. So, you know, that's just the qualities of a dragon. And we're living and we're seeing it.
And by the way, just for reference, folks, if you want to check, that's Revelation chapter 13, verse 11. It talks about it had two horns like a lamb, and it spoke like a dragon.
But remember, we are good policing the world, but we're awful policing ourselves. And now,
hey, stop talking bad about my country.
yeah, I love it. I love this place. But this is one thing I do know, is that
I don't have my green card yet.
Oh my Lord! I'm going to step very gingerly in. One thing I've noticed about our prophetic timeline is we have put much attention on the conflict from without, but the turning of this beast is starting from within.
Yes, sir.
Okay, we have now officially a civil war.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You have two governments. You have the former president refusing to be called the former president. You have referred to him as Mr. President.
And that's what his counterparts are saying. The Republicans are saying if they continue with this impeachment, it's gonna cause a civil war.
So think about this. You have a political party that's now operating as if it's a country. If you don't see a major conflict on the horizon, I don't know where you're living.
Yeah,
we are divided in regards to governance, not philosophies, governance. They're saying this is the way the country should be governed, and I am still the president of this group that believes this is the form that we should operate in. And now
with an iron fist.
Yeah, we have Joe Biden in the office, and there's no respect for him.
Nope.
But yet everybody wants a stimulus check. Even they want, you know, you can't have it both ways. But guess what? This is where we are. And I'm in here. If we as believing Christians, as the remnant, if we're not careful, because we are tied into these political systems, our prophecy, as we see it, will lead us astray because you're so concerned about the external issues that you are not aware that you are part of the internal conflict. You know, Caucasians who are Adventists supported that mess.
Yes, sir.
Do you understand that they're helping prophecy to be fulfilled?
Yeah, those are you're dropping some huge bombs there. I mean, we're definitely gonna have to pick that up.
And it's not prophetically for the good. I'll leave it right there.
Sadly, though, there were a whole lot of black folks who were supporting that mess too.
Oh, well, listen, when you've been, I'm just gonna say this. When you've been brainwashed by something, that's all you know. I got nothing else to say. I'm done.
What you trying to do, man? Listen, this is only the second episode, man. What you trying to do? I want to come back. All right, folks. So listen, you know, you can catch us here on Wednesdays at around 1 p.m. You hear how we talk and you know the different things that we look at. I don't know, you know Prince, Pastor Prince Lewis, Youth Director Prince Lewis. He's on social media. He's everywhere. He's everywhere, right?
No, I'm in my house.
Whatever. Digital. You're all over the net. All right. Pastor Dotton, Pastor Newton. Shout out to Pastor Newton. He had to step away. All right. So we see you all. This Facebook page that it's coming on is Free Doulos TV, and the YouTube channel is also Free Doulos TV as well. All right. This is Between the Pews. Catch you next week. Later.
Peace.